Eldoria was a land of ancient forests and sparkling rivers. It was a place of magic and wonder. The kingdom was ruled by a wise and just king, beloved by his people. At the heart of Eldoria stood the grand castle made of shimmering white stone. Here lived Princess Ilara. Ilara was known for her kind heart and her unwavering courage. She possessed a quiet strength that drew people to her. Her laughter echoed through the castle halls and her spirit brightened even the dullest of days. But a shadow loomed over the kingdom. The people of Eldoria were worried. Their beloved king was unwell. His once strong hand now trembled, and his once vibrant eyes were now clouded with pain. Princess Ilara felt the weight of their worry. She was determined to help her father. Princess Ilara had two close companions, Eloria and Lyra. Eloria was a skilled warrior, always eager for a challenge. She was brave and headstrong with a fiery spirit. Lyra, on the other hand, was a gifted healer and scholar. She approached every situation with a calm mind and a gentle touch. Eloria and Lyra were as different as the sun and the moon, yet their differences were what made their friendship so strong. They balanced each other perfectly. Eloria's impulsiveness was tempered by Lyra's patience. Lyra's quietness was brightened by Eloria's enthusiasm. Both girls were devoted to Ilara.
I cherish both of you deeply. Your strength, Eloria, and your wisdom, Lyra, are the sisters I never had. You share my laughter and my tears. Now we share our worry for the king.
The king's health deteriorated with each passing day. His once robust frame, now gaunt and frail, was a shadow of its former self. The kingdom watched in despair as their beloved ruler's condition worsened, his strength ebbing away like the last rays of a setting sun. The court healers were baffled. They had never encountered such a mysterious ailment before. Every remedy they tried, every potion they concocted seemed to have no effect. The king's condition remained unchanged, leaving the healers in a state of frustration and helplessness. They had exhausted all their knowledge and remedies. The king grew weaker. The healers, once confident in their abilities, now felt the weight of their failure. They spent sleepless nights poring over ancient texts, searching for any clue that might lead to a cure, but their efforts were in vain. Hope began to dwindle in the hearts of the people. Whispers of despair spread through the kingdom like wildfire. The once vibrant and bustling streets were now filled with a somber silence. The people feared for their future, uncertain of what would become of their land without their wise and just ruler. Ilara refused to give up. The king's daughter, known for her unwavering spirit and determination, could not bear to see her father suffer. She was determined to find a solution no matter the cost. Her resolve was a beacon of hope in the dark times that had befallen the kingdom. She spent countless hours by her father's bedside, reading to him and offering words of comfort. She read stories of great heroes and legendary quests, hoping to inspire her father to fight against the illness that plagued him. Her voice, filled with love and determination, was a soothing balm to the king's troubled soul. The sight of her father, once so strong and vibrant, now frail and fading, filled her with a deep sadness. She remembered the days when he would lift her onto his shoulders and carry her through the castle gardens, his laughter echoing through the halls. Now those memories seemed like a distant dream. She was determined to find a way to save him. Ilara knew that giving up was not an option. She vowed to do whatever it took to restore her father's health, even if it meant venturing into the unknown and facing unimaginable dangers.
Father, I will find a way to save you, I promise. Her voice was filled with conviction and her eyes shone with determination. She knew that her father needed her now more than ever, and she was ready to rise to the challenge.
One evening, as Ilara sat beside her father, he stirred from his slumber. His eyes, though weak, held a spark of life. He reached out a trembling hand and beckoned her closer. Ilara leaned in, her heart pounding with anticipation. He beckoned her closer, his voice a mere whisper. Ilara, he said, his voice barely audible, there is an ancient prophecy, a prophecy that holds the key to my salvation. His words were like a lifeline, offering a glimmer of hope in the darkness.
Ilara, there is an ancient prophecy, a prophecy that holds the key to my salvation. The king's words were filled with a sense of urgency and desperation. He knew that time was running out, and this prophecy was their last hope.
The words of the king sparked a glimmer of hope in Ilara's heart. She felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. The prophecy was their last chance, and she was ready to do whatever it took to uncover its secrets and save her father. She knew that the journey to uncover this prophecy would be her greatest challenge yet. The path ahead was fraught with danger and uncertainty, but Ilara was undeterred. She was ready to face any obstacle, to brave any peril for the sake of her father and her kingdom. With a heart full of hope and determination, she set out on her quest, knowing that the fate of the kingdom rested on her shoulders. The prophecies spoke of a magical artifact hidden deep within the Whispering Woods. This artifact was not just any ordinary object. It was a relic of immense power and significance, known to the ancients as the Sunstone. It was called the Sunstone, a name that resonated through the ages, whispered in legends and tales passed down through generations. The Sunstone was said to hold the power of life itself. Its radiant glow was believed to be a source of unparalleled energy, capable of bringing vitality to the land and its people. It could heal any ailment, mend any wound. The Sunstone's magic was so potent that it could restore life to the dying and bring hope to the hopeless.
The Sunstone, Ilara. It is our only hope. Without it, our kingdom will fall into despair and our people will suffer.
The king whispered to Ilara about the Sunstone. His voice was filled with urgency and a deep-seated fear of what might come if the Sunstone was not found. He placed all his hope in her hands. Ilara, though young, was brave and determined, and the king believed she was the only one who could succeed in this perilous quest. News of the prophecy spread quickly. The whispers of the Sunstone's power and the king's desperate plea reached every corner of the kingdom. It sparked a glimmer of hope in the hearts of the people. They believed that if anyone could find the Sunstone, it was Princess Ilara.
I will find it, father. I promise. Ilara's voice was steady, her resolve unshakable. She knew the weight of the responsibility she carried.
But the Whispering Woods were vast and dangerous. The dense forest was a labyrinth of ancient trees and hidden paths where many had ventured but few had returned. They were home to magical creatures, both good and evil. The woods were alive with the whispers of spirits and the rustling of unseen beings, each with their own intentions. Retrieving the Sunstone would be a perilous task. The journey would test Ilara's courage, wisdom, and strength in ways she could not yet imagine.
Aloria, Lyra, will you join me on this quest? Ilara knew she could not do this alone. She needed the support and companionship of her closest friends.
Iloria and Lyra stepped forward. Their loyalty to Ilara and their shared sense of duty to the kingdom compelled them to join her. They were ready to face the dangers of the Whispering Woods for their king and their friend. Together, they prepared for the journey ahead, gathering supplies and steeling themselves for the challenges to come. Ilara was grateful for their loyalty. She knew that with Iloria's wisdom and Lyra's strength, they stood a better chance of succeeding, but she knew this quest would test their friendship like never before. The trials they would face could either strengthen their bond or tear them apart. As they ventured into the unknown, Ilara hoped that their friendship would endure, for the fate of the kingdom depended on it. Iloria, ever the warrior, was determined to retrieve the Sunstone. She believed that speed was of the essence.
We must set out immediately. Every moment we delay, the king suffers.
She was confident in her abilities. She was sure that she could overcome any obstacle the woods threw at them. Iloria started preparing for the journey immediately. She sharpened her sword, polished her armor, and gathered supplies. She studied maps of the Whispering Woods, memorizing the dangerous areas. She was a whirlwind of activity, her energy and determination filling the room.
We can't afford to waste time. The Sunstone is within our reach.
Lyra urged caution.
Aloria, we need to research the prophecy further. We must understand the true nature of the Sunstone. Rushing in unprepared would be reckless.
Her words fell on deaf ears. Iloria was set on her course. Lyra, with her calm wisdom, believed that preparation was key. She knew that embarking on a quest without proper knowledge and understanding could lead to disastrous consequences. Her serene demeanor masked the intensity of her thoughts as she meticulously planned every step of their journey. She delved into the ancient texts, searching for any information about the Sunstone and the Whispering Woods. The castle's library was vast, filled with scrolls and books that held secrets of the past. Lyra spent countless hours poring over these texts, her eyes scanning each page for clues that could aid them. She discovered warnings about the dangers that lurked within the forest. The Whispering Woods were notorious for their treacherous paths and the eerie voices that could lead travelers astray. The texts spoke of many who had ventured in and never returned, their fates sealed by the forest's dark magic. She learned about the creatures that guarded the Sunstone. These beings were not just ordinary animals, they were mystical guardians with powers beyond comprehension. Each creature had its own unique abilities, and Lyra knew that understanding these would be crucial for their success.
Eloria, listen to me. The journey ahead is fraught with peril. We cannot afford to be reckless. There are ancient riddles that need to be solved, and magical creatures that need to be appeased. These riddles are not just simple puzzles, they are tests of our wisdom and courage. Failing to solve them could mean the end of our quest. Knowledge is our greatest weapon. It is the key to overcoming the challenges that lie ahead. Without it, we are vulnerable.
Lyra presented her findings to Eloria, hoping to convince her friend to be more cautious. She laid out the maps, the texts, and the warnings, explaining each detail with precision.
We must be prepared. The forest is treacherous. One wrong step, and we could be lost forever.
But Eloria remained unconvinced. She was driven by a sense of urgency and a desire to prove herself. She believed that action was more important than caution. The tension between the two friends grew. Their differing perspectives created a rift that seemed impossible to bridge. Lyra's insistence on preparation clashed with Eloria's impulsive nature. Eloria saw Lyra's caution as cowardice. She couldn't understand why Lyra was so hesitant, why she insisted on delaying their quest. Lyra saw Eloria's haste as recklessness. She feared that Eloria's impatience would lead them into danger. Elara found herself caught in the middle. She valued both her friends' opinions and didn't want to take sides.
Please, both of you, we need to find a way to work together. Our strength lies in our unity. We need to work together. Only by combining our strengths can we hope to succeed.
She loved both her friends dearly. She valued their strengths. Lyra's wisdom, Eloria's bravery, and Elara's diplomacy were all crucial for their quest, but their disagreement threatened to tear them apart. The success of their quest depended on their ability to overcome their differences and work as a team.